Zapraszam do sceny Eva Hussain i przedstawi swoją grupę. Check test 1, 2. Can I please get the group for Heritage and Charity? Sławek, Rob, Jason, Monica, Ivona, Robert, and Jakub. Please to the stage. We're running on a tight schedule. Please come to the stage.
All right, so we're going to switch gears a little bit and switch to English. I know there are people who will prefer that, so go take a seat, everyone. All right, we've got Monica, we've got Dr. Korga. Hello.
Can I get a round of applause for the next panel and the moderator, Eva Hussain? We're going to be about 35 minutes with the group. Thank you.
Okay, real privilege to be here. Do take a seat and I'll introduce everyone once the music stops. Do we have enough chairs? Yes, we do. All right, so everyone, I'm Eva Hussain. I represent a company called Polaron European Citizenship. I've come from Australia, from Melbourne, representing the last continent. We're going to be talking about something that will tie up a few of the themes that we've discussed, and we're going to be talking about heritage and charity. Why? Because we are a very charitable nation, I think. And what connects us here is, of course, Poland. So some of us were born there, others live there, others have got great-grandparents that are Polish. So we have quite a selection of and a range of people coming from different bits and pieces that they carry in their heart, which is Poland. So firstly, and I don't think this lady needs an introduction, but this is Dr. Eva Korga, who's from the Piłsudski Institute. Hello. Dzień dobry. We also have, and guess what his favorite color is? We also have Sławek, where are you on my list? Muturi. He's the president of Muturi, and he lives in Warsaw. And welcome. The next person there, Monica Biela, does not need introduction either. I think she's well known. She runs a company called Give Back Box. Yes. Right. Welcome. And we also have Jakub Fiewski, who is an art dealer and entrepreneur, and also is based in Warsaw. Welcome. We have Robert Dudkiewicz, whose great-grandparents were Polish. So he's on the other side, on the other side of the spectrum. He's the president of a leading international tax and accounting firm. Welcome, Robert. Next to him, we have Jason Studol. He's a certified life coach, and his great-grandparents also from Poland. Last but not least, we have, yes, welcome. We have got Mr. Norbert Rokita, and he's the president of the board of a new foundation, a 60 million foundation that was recently established. Okay, so now that we know who's who, let's get started. And I might actually ask the first question that I have of Dr. Korga. Why should we give? What's in it for people? And how do you connect that to the Polish heritage?
Yes, good morning, everyone. It's great to be here in the Sunshine State. Giving is always good. It makes us better. And there are different reasons for giving. I represent non-for-profit educational center and heritage. So giving to us is a life to us. And I think it is very important. It makes us better. We can think about charity, philanthropy, donations, membership. But this is what makes and helps Polish culture in the United States. Piłsudski Institute is helping to preserve and make available million documents connected to Polish diaspora here in the United States, Polish art and libraries. So without help of our donors, it's impossible. So what I would like to do is to have bridge between investments, between corporations, between institutional donors and private donors, which can strengthen our organization here in the United States.
Thank you. And I might actually go to Robert and ask you, given the fact that you are a descendant of very proud Polish great-grandparents, we are known to be hospitable and welcoming. What does charity mean to you?
Thanks, Eva, and it's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, I think I'm somewhat rare for someone being in the U.S., fourth generation, to still have 100% Polish blood. So I would tell you this, one of the things I think that really kind of characterizes my Polish heritage, I saw it all around me with my parents and my grandparents, was their commitment to faith, their commitment to family, and their commitment to hard work, and I think all those things kind of tie in. And certainly, I've had the great pleasure of seeing and hearing stories where, where my parents and my grandparents who grew up in these Polish communities up in Michigan, really having to support each other from time to time. They came over here in late 1800s and experienced a lot of difficulties, a lot of challenges, and certainly the support of family was extremely important. And as I kind of look back now in the stage of life that I'm at, where people have means, I think it's very, very important to go ahead and support our brothers and sisters, especially those of Polish heritage. And also being here in the U.S., I think that, certainly I recognize that we just have a land of great opportunities here, and sometimes others just don't have those same opportunities, and I think it's important for us to go ahead and support them, because sometimes you just don't know. Maybe it's supporting them through their education or maybe even more basic needs than that, but certainly how that support and help can really make a difference in the community, especially, like I said, our brothers and sisters in Poland.
Thank you, Robert. And I think, I don't know about you, but I felt very inspired by what our politicians have said today. Speaking of inspiring, Monica, over to you. You are someone that connects charity and business. Tell us a bit more about what charity and what heritage means to you.
Yes, so for me, first of all, the giving back wasn't always in my life. Like if someone will tell me, I don't know, 20 years ago I will run a non-profit organization, I will never believe. So I kind of know the giving from the side of you don't believe in giving, and from the other side when you just give a lot, and that's what you basically do for all your life. So what's giving mean to me, it's basically expansion. So as much we can give, that much we expand. And at this moment, I cannot imagine a company or a business who will not give back, because I believe that running a business and having any organization, even, I don't know, school club or something like this, it's our responsibility to create the impact on the world and to be an example. So for me, giving back, it's helping me, helping everyone around, helping my company, and actually it's do help you make money. So for me, giving back, it's absolutely necessary part of every organization, and I think every company, non-profit or for-profit, should do something to make the world better, because that's basically our basic responsibility on the world. So that's what it means to me.
Amazing, thank you. And we'll go to the very end there to Norbert. Tell us a bit more about the newest initiative of the 60 Million Foundation, which is a new baby that we gave birth to, right?
Right. First of all, I would like to, if it's possible, I would like to answer in Polish. It can be a little bit easier for me, for sure more interesting for you.
Go for it.
A więc rzeczywiście Fundacja 60 milionów to jest nowy twór, który rodził się przez ostatnie 1,5 roku. Gwoli wyjaśnienia, jestem od 7 lat związany z grupą Trias. Tak jak Kamil Szymański zarządza halą G2 Arena w Rzeszowie, ja przez ostatnie 7 lat zarządzałem analogiczną halą w Szczecinie. Fundacja, główną ideą jest oczywiście rozszerzenie działalności kongresu, czyli rozszerzenie działalności kongresu na rzeczy, które się będą działy obok, głównie związane z kulturą i pewnie sztuką i sportem, który mi jest najbliższy. Ja się wywodzę z branży sportowej razem ze swoją małżonką od lat prowadzimy, byłą sportsmenką, prowadzimy fundację jej imienia. To trochę odpowiadając, czym jest ta charytatywność. Myślę, że z perspektywy Polski charytatywność i filantropia jest trochę uzupełnieniem działań państwa, tak naprawdę. Jest trochę czym innym niż jest poza granicami Polski, ale jest w tej chwili obowiązkiem. Obowiązkiem, co może być dla państwa interesujące, jest takie zjawisko, że według mojej opinii praktycznie powstaje co roku przynajmniej pięć fundacji, które zakładają sportowcy, którzy kończą kariery i zakładają i naprawdę one działają bardzo aktywnie, z wymienianym już wcześniej Marcinem Gortatem na przykład na czele, tak, bo jego fundacja była pewnym pionierskim działaniem. Skracając, fundacja ma też się zajmować wsparciem młodzieży w obydwie strony, czyli myślimy oczywiście o programach stypendialnych i no na przykład, nie wiem, czy państwo wiecie, ale co roku kilkadziesiąt młodych ludzi z Polski, sportowców, zaczyna studia. Właściwie praktycznie wszyscy polscy sportowcy po zakończeniu wieku juniora, głównie z lekkiej atletyki, pływania, otrzymują propozycje z uniwersytetów amerykańskich. Wielu z nich korzysta. Nie zawsze to się przekłada na wynik sportowy, ale w większości, w 90% przypadków przekłada się na sukces życiowy, co jest bardzo, bardzo istotne. No i na końcu, ale pewnie jeden z ważniejszych powodów, fundacja da możliwość korzystania, rozszerzyć źródła finansowania, głównie o środki publiczne i tutaj podejmujemy już aktywne działania, żeby te środki pozyskiwać. To tak w największym skrócie tym, czym jest fundacja. Dziękuję bardzo.
I have to tell you that both Robert and Jason are studying Polish, but this was pretty advanced. I'll tell you all about it after. Jason, over to you. What does the future of philanthropy looks like? How do you connect the dots?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? We were talking about the microphone.
Is it working?
Hello?
Yep, that's good, yeah. Did you want me to repeat?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So my question to you, Jason, given that you are a life coach, what do you think the future of philanthropy holds? What's in the future? What's ahead of us?
Okay, great. Yeah, that's a very good question. I guess the one thing I'm thinking about, and the one thing I've noticed in my practice and personally in my life, is just, especially with the pandemic, there's a lot of anxiety and depression. These people are being increasingly disconnected with the real world, and that's on top of all the technology that we're faced with, like Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and things like that. So I think in the future, the charity and the work that I think will be very important, especially with older generations, is to create opportunities to interact with people in the real world, like whether that could be online, digitally, with like Zoom or video calls, but as well as trying to spend some time with loved ones, family members, associates in real life, because I think creating that connection means a lot, mentally, physically, emotionally, and it creates a sense of community that I think at times is being increasingly lost.
Yeah, thank you. Jakub, over to you. You work in the art space, and during the break before we started, you were telling us that you've been quite successful. So art is something that lots of people are getting into across the world, but in Poland in particular. How does that fit within charitable endeavors?
Thanks for this question. It's a great pleasure to be here. So, yeah, I'm representing voice of thousands of artists and gallerists from Poland. So it's a really pleasure to be here. And from my perspective, supporting the artists and art after 10 years of being in a venture capital companies is a very big pleasure, and I think artists need our help, need our support, and what we can do, we can buy the art. So this is the best way to support the artists, support the gallerists, and we would like to, in my gallery, promoting the sculptures. This is the very heavy stuff. Yeah, it's really hard to promote this because you have to pay for logistic. You have to sending this all over the world. So it's a cash burn business, but it's really worth it. So I think the charity in this in this area is really important because what is more important in our life than culture?
Yeah.
So we have to do that, yeah. And I think as we are here today, we have to talk about it, and I would like to encourage you to support the artists from Poland, yeah, because it's our culture, yeah.
Amazing, thank you. So look, it is said that if you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going to go. But we do have to wrap this up soon, except that I need to give Sławek the floor and ask you one simple question. How can we make a lasting impact? So our diasporas are very diverse. We live across the world. There's 20 million of us. There's 38 million people in Poland, of course. How do we make it last? And then after you've spoken, I'll move on to other people. Yeah.
Thank you. So, you asked about the future of philanthropy.
Yeah, the impact.
And what I see is that normally philanthropy comes in as an add-on to the government. The government often doesn't see the problems that we see, the injustices that we see on the ground from the heights of the ivory towers. And so what people do is they follow their heart and decide to do something good for the society. And the normal way is to raise funds and then to carry out activities that fulfill your statutory mission. At the end, towards the end of the year, the money runs out, and then you start funding again. Requests for funding, looking for sponsors, and so on. And that is a very tiring process. So the way I would advise, like the Congress 60 million Fundacja, would be to do something that is quite common in the Anglo-Saxon countries, in Australia, in the US, and in England, is to raise money for an endowment. We did that for our foundation, Fundacja Freedomia, and what we decided is we'll raise money and then invest it in an asset which produces cash, both to maintain the activities of the foundation, to fund the activities, but also to be able to buy more assets that will continue funding in the future, increasing your asset base. And this is not normally the approach today of fundacjas in Poland. They haven't really discovered that idea yet, and therefore it's difficult for them to make a lasting impression. Even WOŚP and Jurek Owsiak, who is world famous now, I asked him the question. I mean, Jurek, you're older than me. When you die, what happens? I mean, how will Fundacja WOŚP carry on? And this is not a question he had asked himself. So it's important as a founder to focus not just on the immediate actions, on the good that you're doing, but also on how you can make a lasting impact.
Right, and make it sustainable. Speaking of which, Dr. Kolga, your institution is well known. It's been around for decades. How do you make sure that you're relevant and sustainable? And we don't have a lot of time, so I'm so sorry.
So I would just share whatever my colleague said, Sławek, that endowment is very good, but in order to have endowment, you have to have great sponsors. You have to have some wealthy people, some philanthropists who will give you the money. And then you have to have plan and carry on every day. This is what we do. You have to look for the opportunities, for the grants, for meeting people, for making that bridge between corporations and the culture. And this is what we do. And we also look for government funding here in the United States and in Poland. And it is available. So there are many ways to do so. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. And if you're ever in Greenpoint, drop in and support this wonderful organization. Monica, lasting impact, how do we make it happen?
I think we make it happen by educate people how important giving back and charity is. And I think this have to happen obviously in schools, and as younger kids are and understand of giving back, it's important. So this is how we lasting this, basically to educate younger people, get this to schools and make this giving back as a subject of importance for younger people. And then we're gonna be a good and thriving society in the future.
Amazing. Jakub, you live in Poland, and I read a statistic the other day that 30% of Poles do give either money or, they volunteer. What do you see as one thing we could all do to make a lasting impact on charity?
Poland is booming right now, I think, and especially after a pandemic. So what we can say, it's a lot of money on the market. So I think people are starting thinking about the charity and donate a lot of initiative, and this is great. I think we are starting right now in Poland being involved in very important things. Yeah, so it's good for the future, I think, and what we can do from my perspective, for example, so. We can build a bridge all over the world for the artists and making it happen. We should be present on the best art fairs in the world, also in Art Basel in Miami. So yeah, my dream is to take a lot of artists here. So.
Well, we hope it works. We'll be watching that space. Robert and Jason, as people with Polish heritage who were born here several generations, how can Polish American Poles, how can we make a lasting impact, do you think?
Well, I think it starts with venues like this. First of all, it's just continue to get the word out about our Polish heritage, our culture, and certainly some of the suggestions that were brought up today, like buying the art, making sure that people understand exactly what proud heritage that we have, and certainly being able to support all those causes.
Great. Over to you, Jason.
All right. I think we can use technology. I mean, I run like a weekly or bi-weekly kind of relationship group, but I think one thing we could do is create communities, like online, like meetup groups, Facebook groups, where you have your Polish community. And the one thing I've noticed is once you build a group and the word gets out, it slowly builds. And, you see the accounts on Instagram, you see someone that had 50,000 subscribers and now they have like 5 million, right? So I think it's the same thing. It can start off really small, but with the technology, it can grow over time. So I think if you're patient and put in the work, we could really build these connections and can mean a lot.
Amazing. Last but not least, Panie Norbercie, proszę nam powiedzieć, gdzie możemy więcej informacji zdobyć na temat fundacji i jak możemy wesprzeć ją, bo to bardzo ważna inicjatywa.
Ja myślę, że te informacje pojawią się oczywiście na stronie kongresu i pojawią się bardzo szybko i oczywiście budujemy, poza tym, że fundacja koncentruje się na pozyskiwaniu środków publicznych, to będziemy oczywiście szukać wsparcia też donatorów prywatnych. Myślę, że te mechanizmy zostaną ogłoszone w najbliższym czasie. W tej chwili koncentrujemy się na zbudowaniu tej bazy na podstawie środków publicznych, których, tak jak pani Iwona wspominała, rzeczywiście będziemy spróbowali korzystać zarówno z środków krajowych, jak i zagranicznych. Jak o wpływie, ja myślę, że działalność fundacji w Polsce w ogóle to jest edukacja i jeszcze raz edukacja. Mi jest bardzo bliskie sercu to, co robi pani Monika i jakby ten rodzaj działalności i wydaje mi się, że to jest absolutna przyszłość, od której nie ma ucieczki. No i działalność każdej fundacji w Polsce jest zobowiązana do tego, żeby edukować, bo różnica w rozumieniu charytatywności w Stanach Zjednoczonych, a w Polsce i w akceptowaniu charytatywności jest ogromna. I to jest główne zadanie fundacji.
Jasne, dziękuję bardzo. Can we just put our hands together to thank our esteemed guests, Dr. Korga, Sławek, Monika, Jakub, Robert, Jason, and Norbert at the end.
And also Eva, I told her to keep a schedule. She kept the schedule, so I owe her drinks tonight. That was amazing. Thank you, Eva. The hardest thing to do is to keep everybody to the shortest amount of talking as possible. Big round of applause one more time. Please stand up. Thank you, guys.
Everyone.